Hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. So, today I'm doing the ultimate Abigail Larson unfair comparison between the 3 tarot decks that feature her art. Darkwood Tarot that came out in, I believe it was late summer 2020. Nightmare Before Christmas that came, well, was this 2019? Late summer 2019? Fuck. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of this. Nightmare Before Christmas that came out end of 2020, and the one that just came out like this week, Horror Tarot. Okay. So, as far as like which one is the most well-rounded, well thought out, well composed, internally consistent tarot decks, that is hands down Darkwood Tarot. As far as like, I mean, you know, as far as these sort of insight editions like Disney themed decks go, this Nightmare Before Christmas deck is good. It's good. And this Horror Tarot, I just got it in the mail today. So I don't know how I feel about it yet. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this right now. Because do I want to keep all 3 of these decks? Because I tend to have, I'm not a completist kind of person. I tend to have an issue with like having this many decks from the same artist. But so far as I can tell, she doesn't really, I mean, besides her having a pretty definitive style, she doesn't really repeat imagery. And she absolutely dedicated herself to doing her art style through the lens of Tim Burton for the Nightmare Before Christmas. So that one's just like absolutely totally different from the other 2. Whereas there are some repeating themes in Darkwood and Horror Tarot, but not really. Also, Sylvain, if you're watching, I'm curious to see, because I recognize a lot of references to specific horror movies in this deck, but I think that I'm missing some of them, and I know that you are a horror movie expert, so I'm curious to get your take on that. Just let me know. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put my hair back, and we are doing this thing. I did not get myself a beverage because I'm a dumbass, but that's okay. It'll be all right. I'll live. Okay, so here we have the Fool. So the Fool so all 3 of these decks are mass market, easy to come by decks. So huge plus for that. I believe that these 2, both being Insight editions, they're going to be a little bit cheaper, but this one has a much more fleshed out guidebook if you're interested in that kind of thing. This is kind of like someone's discography. Let's say that this is Chelsea Wolfe's discography. We're talking Chelsea Wolfe's Abyss here. Chelsea Wolfe's, what was that one album that she put out that I can't remember the name of? And this one's His Spun. Okay, this one's Pain is Beauty. This one's His Spun. This one's Abyss. And Abyss is my favorite. So, okay. So, throughout the Darkwood Tarot, we are following the Shadow Witch. It's a fool's journey through the Shadow Witch. And this is the Shadow Witch. And there's a lot more tarot symbolism in particular in Darkwood Tarot, whereas with Nightmare Before Christmas, it's more just like, not forcing in a bad way, but it's forcing the theme of tarot through the world of Nightmare Before Christmas. And we're forcing the theme of tarot through the lens of horror movies and horror themes in Horror Tarot. So this one, yeah, there's just much more like actual thought put into Darkwood Tarot for sure. So if for some reason you came to this video wanting to choose between these 3 decks, that would be my choice, hands down. Unless you're just, like, really into Nightmare Before Christmas or really into the imagery here. But, like, both of these decks are not ones, in my opinion, that you're going to be getting out that often. These are more like, you know, this is an everyday deck, and these are every so often decks. You know what I mean? All three good magicians. And this one actually does employ some tarot symbolism, because he's got this beaker for cups. He's got these tarot cards. Well, I mean, I guess it's not straight up symbolism, but one thing I will say is annoying about this deck is, so it's got this cool, like, red embossed text. But do you see how at most angles you can't even see what it says? And it's not like immediately recognizable tarot imagery, so you wouldn't necessarily look at this and just automatically go, oh, that's the High Priestess. You have to kind of like hold it at the perfect angle, and there's not enough contrast between the red embossed text and the black tiny little background, you know? I fucking love this Empress. Talk about turning the pregnant Empress on her side. I mean, this one is, you know, she's got like a chest burster Cthulhu alien creature coming out of her. And it reminds me of that scene in Prometheus when the woman had to like program the machine to abort her alien baby, you know, before it burst out of her. Thank you to Julie for reminding me that that was Prometheus, because I was just remembering it was some kind of alien movie. Oh, I forgot I was going to like try to pick my favorite of each card. I guess I can. Well, let's just start over real quick, because we're not too far in. You can see how long this video is. This one's definitely my favorite. So I will set aside the ones that are my favorite. And this is supposed to, like, this, the guidebook for both of these decks here are not very, it's not very good. This deck is saying in the guidebook that it's like, we're following this chick who's trying to escape a horror movie situation, like she's a final girl kind of situation. And, you know, I can accept that for the Fool card in general, but that's not carried through. There's not really any themes that are carried through with horror tarot. It's more just like, look at this cool image that fits in with a horror theme, and it's also the magician, you know? Okay. I like all of these magicians, but this one is my favorite. Spoiler alert, Dark Wood cards are going to be my favorite most of the time. I do like all three of these High Priestesses, but this one, just because it has more of the tarot symbolism and the fact that she's holding this scroll that literally says tarot on it also. But I'm going to have to go with the belly-bursting Cthulhu situation for that Empress, because it just makes me laugh. I just feel like it's embarrassing, but I love the Santa Emperor. I choose him. I don't get this Hierophant. I don't get it. Like, what is happening? How is this a Hierophant? I don't know. But obviously I just got this deck today, so I need to think about how I feel about that. And again, you are getting some pretty straightforward RWS symbolism imagery in Dark Wood. So, and that tends to be something that I lean toward. Interesting that Abigail Larson in general, like these two cards are actually pretty comparable. Because in both of them we have a man that is, he almost looks like the same man in both of these cards actually, that is very interested in the woman, and the woman is distracted by the devil or the angel. I do like this one better, actually. And I do not give two fucks about Jack and, I'm sorry, whoever she is. I actually do like the movie Nightmare Before Christmas, but I'm not like super attached to it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagle actually for my favorite chariot. And this is one of my favorite strength cards ever. Both of these strength cards confuse me, like I don't really see why they're strength. And that, that kind of tells me, because with both of these decks, we're dealing with, like, most likely she was just told, make a tarot deck that matches a horror theme. Make a tarot deck that matches Nightmare Before Christmas. Whereas with Dark Wood, she was clearly directed more by Sasha Graham, most likely, because I feel like we get some imagery in both of these decks that make me think that Abigail Larson's grasp on tarot is not quite as strong as Sasha Graham's, which makes sense because she's been, doing the tarot thing for a long time. Yeah, that is just my sense that I get from it. I really do like this Hermit, though, just being that it's like a cabin in the woods, and there's like... This is actually, this Horror Tarot, I'm going to go with this one as my favorite, though. This Horror Tarot is actually kind of scary and gruesome at times, and I like that. I like that it goes there. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Weirdly, I feel like at this moment I'm going to keep all three of these decks, and that's very weird for me, to want to keep 3 decks with the same artist. It's like bothering my brain to even think that way, but I have the room. I don't have to be weird and like decide which one I'm gonna purge. I actually really like her. She's just got like Moulin Rouge vibes, and I'm into it. I am into it, but I don't know. I really like these little goblin-y guys too, so I'm going to go with that one being my favorite. Whoops. Didn't flip that one. Let's go back so we can see all the wheels together. Okay. These are similar, right? Okay. Justice. I love this Horror Justice. Do you see we have like this creature that is blindfolded with horns and these giant wings, and they are weighing. It's not actually a heart against a feather. It's just there is a heart on one side of the scale. Yeah, I like this. I really like this one, but I don't like the figures down here on the Justice card, so I am actually going to go with this one being my favorite Justice. Poor little Nightmare Before Christmas is kind of getting ignored, but this is a very specific deck for me. Like, I use it at Christmas time when I need something to comfort me, with all the, in the midst of all the, like, fucking capitalism, Christmas, family stress. It comforts me. I love this hanged one. Love it a lot. I really like this death. So this one's definitely my favorite, but this one's interesting. I like the sort of like death kissing the hand of the beautiful person. This Temperance confuses me because she looks like she's drowning. Like, and of course the guidebook's not helpful at all. As far as like, why is this Temperance drowning? No reason. Don't worry about it. Look over there. But I love this Temperance card. This one's good too. Sally. Okay. All right. Y'all back off of your comments. Sally and Jack. Got it. I got it. I'm not partial to any of these devil cards. I think they could all be better. but I guess I have to pick one, right? I'll pick this one, even though I do not think that a spider is a devil, but just imagery-wise, I think that's the best. And I totally get why this is the devil for Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, I do know that movie well enough to know that. These are all kind of, I would say, lackluster, because they're all just kind of, yep, that's a tower. Cool. I think I'll go with this one, though. I like all three of these star cards. This one is particularly interesting to me, like immediately just intuitively looking at it. A spirit board being a star card is interesting, right? It's like, okay, you are looking for hope in your connection to someone that's passed on. That works for me. I like it. But I love this star card. With the bats. Love it. And then we have like sort of a werewolf transformation happening here, which is nice. But I love this moon card. Basically, I just love Darkwood Tarot. I haven't worked with it hardly at all this year, though, weirdly. I am so intrigued by this scary-ass clown shuffling cards as being the sun card. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I don't really think this deck is going to be a super great reader. But it's just so creepy and gruesome and macabre and like, I mean, I just love the imagery. So hopefully I can find a way to work with it. Naked person on a horse isn't really my thing, but I'm going to choose that one. Just gorgeous, gorgeous cemetery action here. So good. So good. I mean, imagery alone is making me want to keep this horror deck. This is like one of my favorite judgment cards of all time. Becoming a vampire. Yes. Waking up to your new life as a vampire. All of these world cards make sense to me. This one has very like, you know, sci-fi horror vibes. Like, it's giving me Event Horizon, even though that doesn't really make sense if you know that movie, but it's still giving me Event Horizon. Very industrial, I don't know. Frontline Assembly, like, yes. This horror deck is, yeah. It's just, I love looking at it so much. Okay, all of the aces that Abigail Larson has ever done are amazing. I love them all. I love them all. How could you even decide? I mean, and you can see, like, I put them in this order because this is the order that the decks came out. And you can see the progression in her art. I think that she has gotten better. I only wish that Darkwood was the one that had just come out, you know, because conceptually, compositionally, like, consistency-wise, all those C words, this deck is superior in almost every way, except that I can see that her art has gotten better. So if she had used her talent that she has now making this deck, oh, it would just be, oh, that much better. That much better. I really like this one. I think I'm going to go with this one, actually, is my favorite. I like this sort of, like, evil tarot reader, evil fortune teller vibe happening there, and the evil witch vibe here, and just this image is so pretty. I like all of these, but this one's my fave. We do get like slightly more diversity in this deck in the newest one, Horror Tarot. Like, there's a little bit of older people. There's a handful of people with darker skin, slightly more than a handful of people with darker skin. There's maybe 3 people in this deck that you could read as Asian, 3 or 4. Everything is completely 100% heteronormative in both of these decks. In this one, there's a little bit of like, a little bit more freedom of interpretation in the Two of Cups, as you'll see when we get there. Just because they're horses, so they can be whatever gender you want. But yeah, there's a lot more animal energy in Darkwood. Yeah, just doing comparisons. This one is better. I just love this sort of like congregation of vampires. This one confuses me still. Even though I feel like at some points in time I make my peace with it, then others not so much. This one's fine, you know, Dancing with the Demon gives me legend vibes for sure, but I gotta go with the Congregation of Vampires for my favorite on that one. This is just like possibly my favorite 5 of Wands of all time, honestly. I love it. I'm kind of overlooking this Nightmare Before Christmas deck, but it's also good, you know? It ain't nothing to throw out of bed. It's fine. It's totally fine. And I'm not even that into Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm gonna go with this one, because it is so fucking creepy. Carousel, like, yes. Okay. I do like it. It is definitely the scariest deck that I have. I mean, look at this guy. Do you see it? Do you see it? I can't tell if it's focusing properly because I'm using my camcorder and I can never tell what the fuck this camcorder thinks it's doing. But this guy is creepy. Trust me. And Mothra, look at that. Okay. I think this one's gonna get my 7 of Wands vote, even though it doesn't necessarily make that much sense as a 7 of Wands. And I gotta go with Mothra for the 8 of Wands. I mean, it's too good. It's too good. Oh my god. I love it. And then lots of, this is one of several that just reminds me of like Asian horror circa early 2000s, you know, like Ringu, The Grudge, whatever that was called when it was originally Japanese before, because I just saw the American version of both of those. Oh man, and The Ring, still one of my very, very favorite horror movies. Although I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know if it holds up. But that sort of like wet hair, long, scraggly, black, wet hair coming through this TV screen kind of feeling. Yeah, I get that from this. But also, look at those hands. They're so scary. Oh my god, I love it. Okay, yep. That's the one. And as you can see, the Nightmare Before Christmas is a lot more pippy. We do get some, like, kind of phoned in pips, particularly when we get to the Pentacles of Horror Tarot, but much more consistent, again, in Darkwood Tarot. I don't know. I don't really like... I mean, I like the image of all 3 of these, but all 3 of these don't really give me 10 of Wands. I mean, I guess this one's the closest. The core cards in Horror Tarot leave something to be desired in general. Like, this one is actually fine, but like, in general, I'm sometimes confused by the core cards in Horror Tarot. Like, why is a mummy the Knight of Wands? I don't know. There's not a consistent theme in any of the suits in Horror Tarot. It is more consistent, I would say, in Nightmare Before Christmas because, you know, the candles, they all have candles, you know, etc. I do like this guy, though. We do get a black cat in these two, but not in this one. Could have easily been one there, but this one is just very lacking in animals. Besides, like, wolves lurking in the background or something like that. Like, Horror Tarot is just a little bit lacking in animals, whereas there's a lot more animal energy in Darkwood, which is my personal preference, to have as much animal energy as possible. Like, I don't even necessarily need humans in my decks. Like, seriously, how is this a King of Wands? I don't know. I mean, I guess there's candles in the background. I don't know. I don't really like any of these, but I'll give it to this pumpkin guy. Oh, see? Oh, her aces are just so good. Like, you can tell that she's just a better artist now. You can just tell. But I still prefer this image because it's got a crow in it. Or raven, or whatever the fuck. So yeah, I mean, I guess with both of these Two of Cups, you know, it's not heteronormative, but this one's just kind of like, okay, cool, Two of Potions. But this one is a very nice image. Very sweet. I gotta go with the horses, though. Because I'm just partial to the animal thing. And I gotta go with the black cats for the Three of Cups. Absolutely. Okay, I need to move these out of the way. Okay. I mean, yeah. We're getting a little phoned in here, Abigail, a little bit. But I don't necessarily blame her because I do not know what her situation is with this publisher. You know, they might be giving her really strict deadlines to finish an entire fucking tarot deck, you know? Can you even imagine, like, doing enough artwork to have essentially in a 3-year period, her art has been released in 3 different tarot decks, where she has done the art of 78 images in 3 separate tarot decks in the span of 3 years. Like, and she's doing such a good job that, can you imagine if she had focused all of her energy on one deck in that time? Like, oh, man. These are all pretty traditional Five of Cups, right? Because they all have the 3 cups overturned, 2 upright. I like this one the best here. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. I like all of these. Especially this, like, Horror Tarot. Let's just take this in for a second. What's in each of these cups? So we've got a skull here, scary darkness, Japanese horror situation again here. Is how I'm perceiving it anyway. Snake, Cthulhu, motherfucker, some scrolls, a heart, some keys. I love this image, though, but this totally works for me as a Seven of Cups. Absolutely. I love all 3 of these 8 of Cups, too. Man, I really do love this one a lot, but I think I'm going to give it to this one right now. The addition of the figure and, like, the moon and the scraggly tree, like, yes. Whenever I sat down to do this, I was thinking, I don't know, I might have to give up Horror Tarot. It might just be extraneous, you know? And I could easily return it because I did buy it from Amazon. But I don't think I can. I don't think I can return it. I just like the art too much. It's just so my thing. I think I might give the 9 to this one. I mean, I have to give it to the Family of Wolves for the 10. That's just cute. That's just cute. But this, ugh. With the blood, it's like a blood fountain. Sorry, I'm holding it. Oh, can you see it? What do you think of this blood fountain, guys? See, like, I don't know. I'm not super into the pages. Or just the court cards in general in Horror Tarot. Headless Horseman. This is everything. This is one of my favorite Knight of Cups. The dripping, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I do not like this guy. I do not like him. And Headless Horseman, okay, fine. Okay, fine, I don't know. But, no. Love her. Love her. Swamp Thang. Yes. She wins. I like him because he's kind of a mermaid, but he's definitely a creepy one. So, yeah. I'm gonna give it to him. Another ace, another ace. Ace of swords, ace of swords, ace of needles. I do not like a crown in an ace of swords. I just don't. So I'm going to give it to, well, I think I'm going to give it to this one. Give it to Sally with her needle. And I like the simplicity of this image here for the Two of Swords. So I'm gonna go with that for now. Do you see these colors? Look at that, like, warm pumpkin-y orange next to the moon. All pretty traditional Three of Swords, but I fucking love a traditional Three of Swords. Just like something about like three swords piercing a heart is just like, it's just some kind of primordial symbolism in my brain. It's just like, it's just there. It's an archetype that just exists. And I think I have to give it to this one because I love the fact that there's a spider here, because I do associate the Three of Swords with Kali, and I also associate spiders with Kali. And the, like, very subtle, like, a little bit of black blood dripping out the bottom. I wish that I had convinced my tattoo artist to go more subtle with the black coming out of this heart, because that's over the top. And that's after I had her scale it back. I should have made her scale it back more, because I like this level of just, like, a little bit of black blood coming out the bottom. Anyway, I love all those, though. This one is, yummy. That's probably a bad way to say that, but I kind of like the idea of just, like, her coming out of the coffin. And here's, like, the one woman that, to me, in this deck that I've noticed after having it for less than a day, the one woman that I would characterize as Asian that isn't like a scary, ring creature, for lack of a better term. I love this Five of Swords. It kind of hurts me to pick this one over this one simply because anytime there's a crow involved, I'm here for it, but this is one of the images that I think of when I think of the Five of Swords, so it has to win for me. This one still confuses me. Like, is she stealing that baby from her mother? Is she taking the baby to a better situation? Probably, knowing the Six of Swords, right? I think I will give the favorite to this one. See, like, I just, like, I'm totally fine with an image like this if they're all like this. You have to be consistent, Like, if you're going to have this Seven of Swords, then they all need to be this simple. I don't know, it just kind of bugs me whenever, you'll have something fully illustrated next to that, it's not a deal breaker, though. But I'm going to go with this one. Both of these. This one even, like, knowing the context of Nightmare Before Christmas, this totally makes sense as an Eight of Swords. Like, she's just, everything she's been through is stuck in her situation. She just keeps putting herself back together again. Staying in that weird, abusive relationship with her dad, This is a good one. This one, to me, looks like Frankenstein's monster. And just like that despair. One of my favorite books. It's just so sad. I'm gonna give it to that one. I like all three of these Ten of Swords. This one's a little phoned in. But again, I didn't make 78 images of beautiful art to go with the tarot deck, let alone I did not make 3. So that criticism, take with a giant grain of salt, saying that something is phoned in. I don't know what kind of pressure she was under, but I really do like this Ten of Swords. And I have to go with this one. I mean, do you see, like, how is this a Page of Swords? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of the court cards in Horror Tarot in particular. I know I keep saying it, but, like, okay, so here's a good example. This is, like, a gargoyle made of stone. Like, he's cool. I like him. But why is he the Knight of Swords? Like, maybe he could be the Knight of Pentacles being made out of stone. But Knight of Swords? He doesn't have a sword. Like, why is he the Knight of Swords? I feel like maybe she just, like, took some imagery that she was working on and used it for some of the cards in this deck. Maybe. Maybe, perhaps, this wasn't supposed to be a Knight of Swords, but she turned it in at the last minute. Like, this'll work, So I'm going to give it to this guy, actually. Also this. How is this a Queen of Swords? It's just like some devil creature putting an emerald necklace on a pretty chick. That's all. How is this the Queen of Swords? How? There's no direct gaze. There's no sword. Why does this make sense? Why? I don't think it does. That's the answer. She's not even, like, wearing sword earrings or anything. Nope. Nothing. Okay, at least this guy's got a sword. At least. Alright, another ace. Aces are my favorite. Look at this. Look at this. Severed hand. Even has the 2 bones. Not just one. With the blood dripping. Ooh, sticky. I love it. I am going to give it to this one, though. Here, in all 3 cases, I almost feel like maybe Abigail Larson did the Pentacle pips last, and she was just kind of tired at that point. In all 3 cases. Not every single card, but several of them. Like, this is the most simplistic card in all of Darkwood Tarot. You know, I don't dislike it necessarily, but it just doesn't really fit in with the rest of the deck because of how simple it is. Same thing here. Like, I don't really like any of these Three of Pentacles. But I'll go with this one just because there's more happening. Like this, I'm so disappointed in this one. I mean, as an image, it's beautiful, but Four of Pentacles as a spider web, it's not working for me. It's just not. Yeah, it's just not. I like this little guy though. I will say, I don't mind the like matte finish on the cardstock of the inside editions, those two decks, but it does make them kind of sticky. They like kind of stick to each other, so it's hard to flip through those decks, and it's not a great finish. I don't know if you can tell, but it just kind of like, the finish on the cards is kind of like snotty looking. You know, it just kind of looks like a film of snot, which I guess makes sense for a horror tarot deck. A gruesome, gross horror tarot deck. I don't really like any of these Five of Pentacles, but this one makes sense. Being like, you know, crappy presents for Christmas, 'cause you broke, you know? I don't really love any of these either, but I kind of like the ghost stuff that's happening in that one. I love the imagery of this, you know? The tombstones, the gorgeous autumn colors. The like warm pumpkin oranges in horror tarot is like delectable. I mean, we do have actual pumpkin orange over here, so I don't know what I'm talking about because it's still good. But I think it's just like the way that she's done the gradient into the green here. But I gotta go with this one. See what I mean by phoning it in? Like, what? You just scratch some pentacles on the side of a tree? Like, she was definitely tired at this point. And she should have been given more time to finish this deck. That's what I say. More scary ring stuff happening here. Sorry I keep saying it like that. Like, I'm sure it exists in other movies. Very scary. But how? Is this a Nine of Pentacles? You know, it's just not. It's just not. I mean, I guess she's an independent woman. Oh. I love this imagery, the colors. Like, this is what I want my Christmas tree to look like. Yep. I'm gonna give it to that one, actually. You know, like, how is this, like, chick hiding in bed with a bunch of goblins under the bed and things, creatures reaching for her and shit? How is that a Page of Pentacles? I don't get it. And there's a little cup on a nightstand, so it's like there's no pentacles in this card. This is definitely one that she just had on hand. That was an image she wasn't using for other things, and she was like, sure. That's what happened with that. This one's definitely the best. Yeah. Also, why? Why is that the Knight of Pentacles? Do you have an explanation? No. No one does. Of course, this one's, you know, Poison Ivy. That's my girl. That is my girl. Yeah, I really don't like this. Like, how is this really scary guy looming over a girl? How is this like a Beauty and the Beast situation? But how is that King of Pentacles? Because is he rich? I don't remember. Was he must have been rich. He'd have to be, right? Because he had like a big palace or something, right? They all did. Whatever. Anyway, this one I guess is the best. I don't know why I picked a favorite, because that just means I am now going to have to spend time separating all of these cards to put them back in their original decks. I haven't edged Horror Tarot yet. You can see which one baddie is. Oh my god, why did I do this? I don't know. Because it's not like it's going to be usable as a deck. Oh, to see, like, obviously, Darkwood is my favorite. This is like 80% Darkwood. So if I had to keep only one, we know what that would be. Only a tiny handful of cards from the other two decks even got in there. Anyway, why did I do this? So I just posted a video like, I don't know, 3 days ago that I was, divining like it's 2002, and all of these decks came out in the last 3 years. But I decided that this was the deck, this Horror Tarot was the deck that I said was going to be my one exception to my project, because I knew that it was coming this month, and it came much earlier than I thought it was going to. So I decided that I wasn't really going to use it this month, but I wanted to spend some time with it when I first got it. So I decided for 24 hours I was allowed to do whatever I wanted, which meant that I compared these three decks to each other, which meant that I spent time reading through the Horror Tarot guidebook, which is, sorry, but it's just basically nothing. They should have just had a little white book or a little fold out or something. Like, instead of, because, okay, let me show you the box. I didn't show you the box. So these, I mean, those of y'all that have any Insight Editions tarot decks, like, I can't even get the whole box in the frame. Because it's just, it's big. Like, here's the card in comparison to the box. It's big. And it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be big, because also just a little, so it's got a cute little insert with skulls and things, and it's on the inside of the box. Super cute. Fine. Great. Wonderful. It's got some red embossing on the box. Great. Fine. Wonderful. But this guidebook is just like, why did you even do it? Why? I mean, it's beautiful. It's got the Three of Swords and it says horror on it. But let me see. Let me show you. Like, I don't think you can probably tell, because as per usual I have a filter on that makes things more saturated. But the you can kind of tell with her. Do you see how washed out she looks? It's not just my light. It's, the imagery is not reproduced very well. The colors are extremely washed out. The, like, reds are just kind of pink. So I don't know. Like, if you're going to do a full color guidebook, like, do it right, you know? This looks like, a mistake. Like, do you see how bleached out this wolf guy looks? Like, that's not what the card looks like. I'd find it, but it would take me a long time. Maybe it wouldn't take me a long time to compare. Let's see. Are we? Yeah, here we go. It won't take me too long. I'll find it so I can actually make a comparison. Okay. Here's the wolf guy. And sorry, Julie, let's get that clown out of here. Here we go. So you can see. Look at that. Look at that difference. Look how bleached out. That's just an example of how bleached out the imagery is in my copy of the guidebook. I don't know. They were running out of ink in the printer and they just didn't give a fuck. That's what happened. So, my review of Horror Tarot. The imagery is beautiful. I think I am happy to have it, but it's far from a great example of a tarot deck. It's not going to be a great reader. It's just not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I just got it. I'm judging it a little prematurely. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway. That's it for me. I gotta clean up my big mess now. Thanks for watching. Bye!